Hello, this is Sabelle from Lady Sabelle Designs. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to use polymer clay in the cloth mold. Any brand of polymer clay will do, but softer clays are a little easier to work with. The two brands that I prefer are Sculpey 3 and the Michael Store brand Craft Smart. Straight out of the package, the clay is going to be hard and crumbly, so you need to work the clay for several minutes until it's nice and soft. You're also going to need a sculpting tool that has a rounded end, like this one. You also want a rolling pin and a bit of baby powder. Now, some colors of clay are a little stickier than others. If this happens to you, just use a bit of baby powder on your hands before you start working. To fill the mold, use small bits of clay and press them into the mold and all the little details with your sculpting tool. If this clay pulls out, dip the end of the sculpting tool into the baby powder. Once the mold cavity is full, you can use the rolling pin to smooth out the backside. To remove the piece, simply bend the mold and the clay will pop right out. Now get your piece of furniture, and I recommend using unpainted furniture since we want to bake the clay directly on this piece. If it was painted, the clay would stick and it would make it a lot harder to paint afterwards. But since my clay is white, I will go ahead and use this painted version to make it easier to see. Place the cloth piece on the edge of the bed and then very gently bend it down so that it conforms to the shape of the furniture. Press gently enough that you're not leaving fingerprints. Once it looks the way you want it to, you can just pop this directly into the oven according to the directions on the package for your clay. Now, if you're using a resin or dwarvenite piece, you don't want to put this in the oven. So take a piece of aluminum foil and press it down over the bed. Smooth it out so that it mirrors the contours underneath. Then take your clay and conform it to the shape the way you did with the other piece. Now all you have to do is remove the bed from underneath the foil, and this can be thrown in the oven. Now, one of the advantages of clay is it's very easy to modify these pieces. Take this pair of socks. Very rarely do you ever see a pair of socks laying around. Usually it's just one. So it's easy enough to take this sock and cut the other sock away. Now you have one lonely sock that can be placed on the stairs as it's trying to escape. Another use for the cloth mold is for clotheslines. We're going to take this sheet and press the clay into it. One of the advantages of using small bits of clay is you don't overfill it. It's a lot easier to add more clay than it is to take it out. Now that we have this done, I can take a sewing needle and just fold the sheet directly over it. Pinch it carefully together. And now I have a small opening in which to thread a bit of wire or thread or fishing line, so I can bake this piece and have a complete clothesline. One final note on the cloth mold is the stretch skin rack. The problem with using clay in this is that when you remove the clay out of the mold, it tends to distort. So rather than using clay, I recommend doing plaster or resin or even epoxy sculpt. I'll be going into detail on epoxy sculpt in another video. So that is the cloth mold. You can find this mold and many others on my website, ladysabledesigns.com. Thanks for watching.